What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. This week's episode, there we go, is actually on the pros and cons of the Royal Rumble 2022 and what could we expect from the Royal Rumble. Now I do want to point out this is in no way, shape, or form is this my prediction video. I'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But if you look at the card for this year's Royal Rumble, we've got the 30-man Royal Rumble match. We got the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. We have Becky Lynch defending her Raw Women's title. We've got Edge and Beth Phoenix against The Miz and Maurice. And of course we got the match that I never thought we would ever see again, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Now to be fair, this card is taking place at the Dome at America Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Originally, it was known as the Trans World Dome. They actually named it that from 1995 to 2001, and then from 2002 to 2016 they changed it to the Edward Jones Dome. Where now they decided to change it to the Dome at America Center. So this is actually the first time ever in history that it's taking place at this venue. But what's interesting is that the Dome can seat up to 82,624 people, depending on what the venue is. It all just depends. But I have a feeling this could very may well be the greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view, or I guess premium live event as they're calling it, in WWE history. Because if you look at the card, and if you look at who is in the men's and the women's Royal Rumble match, you've got superstars like, you've got the Street Profits, you got the Mysterios, you got Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, you've got Damian Priest, who could potentially be in the match. You've got Hall of Famers, like you've got legends and Hall of Famers, like Kelly and the Bellas, and now the current Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion Mickie James, who defeated Deonna Purrazzo this past weekend at their pay-per-view. Was it Hard to Kill? I think it was. I don't know. I don't watch it, but that's the power of social media, guys. Very powerful, very powerful. Which to be fair, the Bellas being in there, it doesn't make sense, because in their Hall of Fame speech, they said that they were going to focus on becoming mothers. Ooh, excuse me. But what are they doing? What are they doing? That is the big question. What are they doing? They're competing in the Royal Rumble match just to be, in my opinion, I feel like they're doing this just to be relevant again. Because if you look at their accomplishments and what they've done, they've utilized the power of twin magic to not only win championships, but to cheat their way to retain said championships. And it just doesn't make sense. And plus, Nikki Bella has a surgically repaired neck, which something like that can easily ruin your career. So for someone like Nikki Bella, one wrong move and you're done. So there's no point in competing in the Royal Rumble match. You might as well just stay home. But as far as Lesnar versus Lashley, I've already talked about this. I've already talked about this match in Saturday's video. So if you guys have not checked that out already, I recommend checking it out. It was pretty gnarly, guys. Trust me. And as far as Becky Lynch, we don't know. We don't know, because we found out last week that we found out last week that tonight on Raw, at the time that I'm recording and posting this video, which is the same day, which is actually Monday the 10th, it'll be Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, and Doudrop, and the winner will face Becky Lynch for the for the Raw Women's title at the Royal Rumble. But the biggest pro of it is that one of them goes on to the Royal Rumble and beats Becky Lynch for the title. What's the con of it? Becky Lynch cheats to win. Excuse me. She's done that multiple times, and it's gotten to the point now where everybody's just saying, okay, we did want Becky Lynch back, but this is not the Becky Lynch that we know. We wanted, the Becky Lynch of old, blah 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 blah. Nope. We're now getting, instead of the man, we're getting big time Bex. And funny enough, this past weekend, Ric Flair, Hall of Famer, actually filed a lawsuit against WWE because Becky Lynch utilized the term "the man." I don't know why he did that, but it is what it is. But as far as Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Miz and Maurice, the pro of it all is that if Miz and Maurice win, let's say they do, the pro of it all is that he wins with honor. They win with honor. The more honorable way, and that's not cheating. The con of it all is that they end up cheating. That's just how it is. Now, as far as Rollins and Reigns, I'm going to be honest. We've seen this match multiple times. But the last time we saw this match for a title, and if I remember correctly, I believe it was back in 2016, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I believe it was back in 2016 when Seth Rollins challenged Roman Reigns for the WWE title. Rollins came out as the victor, only for him to be cashed in on via the Money in the Bank by Dean Ambrose. And funny enough, it happens once again, only this time Seth is in a predicament where he has to deal with the Usos. The Usos we all know that the Usos are gonna get involved. There's no denying that whatsoever. They're gonna get involved. But what's interesting is that this past Friday on SmackDown, as SmackDown went off the air, the Usos ended up attacking Seth Rollins, but Rollins hit both of them with a stomp, and he was looking at the crowd for cheers, which is a sign that he could become a babyface again, which is a possibility. But what's interesting about this is that Seth Rollins is utilizing the brand-to-brand superstar invitational, where once every quarter, superstars from Raw can go to SmackDown, and superstars from SmackDown can go to Raw. In this case, Seth Rollins is utilizing that by going to SmackDown and challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Funny enough, AJ Styles is actually using that on NXT because as of tomorrow night on NXT, AJ Styles will be battling Grayson Waller in a rivalry that's been based on respect. That's all it is. Grayson Waller has took to social media and has said that AJ Styles was great. It's just completely disrespecting the legends of WWE, and not something you want to do when you're up against AJ Styles. That's something you don't want to do. But another con of this whole thing, as far as like the Rumble taking place at the Dome at America Center, is the pandemic. because that we're still under the pandemic, and you notice it said that that it can seat it could seat up to 82,000 people. It means that we could potentially be under a we could be under lockdown like we were in 2020 when the pandemic started. So, is it possible? Very. It is very possible that we could be under that. But I have to admit, this could very maybe will be the greatest Royal Rumble event ever. Because if you look at the card from 2020 was kind of a weird one, but last year was kind of stacked. I mean, you had Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg for the WWE title. You had Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens in a last man standing for the Universal title. We had Charlotte Flair and Asuka against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the women's tag team titles, which was absolutely insane. But this year could be interesting. I mean, think of who else is in the Royal Rumble match. You've got Michelle McCool, I mentioned, the Bellas I mentioned, Charlotte Flair, who's going to be in it, which does not make any sense, but she would actually. But this is interesting because she's the first women's champion in history, as far as we know, to be in the Royal Rumble match, which is interesting. But why she wants to do it, I have no clue. Maybe she wants to win and go after Becky Lynch and take both the Raw and SmackDown women's titles, which is very, very possible. Or what she could also do is win and go back to NXT, take the NXT women's title up of Mandy Rose, and she would be the only woman in history to hold both the SmackDown and the NXT women's titles in a single career, which is a possibility, which would make her the only 3-time NXT Women's Champion in history. But honestly, this is probably going to be I think the biggest downside of this whole thing is with the men's and women's Royal Rumble match. The pro of it all is that we see someone new win. We see Dominic Mysterio win. We see Damian Priest win. But the big, and even also the women's match, we could see Shotzi win. We could see potentially Bianca Belair go back to back, which is a possibility. But the biggest con of it all is Charlotte Flair, our superstars like Charlotte Flair and Sami Zayn winning. Because if they win, there's no telling what they could do. There is no telling what they'll do. But I'm gonna be honest. As I said before, this could very may well be the greatest Royal Rumble event in history, but only time will tell. Only time will tell. But I think another con that could also come into play as well is how many people show up. As I said before, the Dome can hold up to a little over 82,000 people. With the pandemic going on, and with the fact that AEW is still sort of up there, we might not get a whole lot of people showing up. But it's also only because of the fact that we're getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl, which I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, but excuse me. But that brings me to the question of the day. I know that this was relatively short, but as of now, there really wasn't a whole lot to talk about. But again, the prediction video will be coming up in the next few weeks, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But that brings me to the question of the day. Who do you guys want to see win the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches? Let me know in the comments below, and that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button if you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, which get posted every Monday. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links will be down in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.